The crime in this book is an unusual violence, a collection of impossible angles. A skin, the skin, ear, foot, sex, an open red thing. A city is always a cemetery. In an unnamed city, a man has been murdered and castrated. His body left in a dark alley. The body is discovered by a professor named Cristina Rivera Garza, who is versed in the distinctions between literal and symbolic castration, and who also reports the crime to the police. Death Takes Me by Cristina Rivera Garza, first published about 20 years ago in Spanish, and recently translated into English by Sarah Booker and Robin Meyers. As more castrated bodies are discovered and fear spreads, Cristina becomes both witness and suspect. She also emerges as an unlikely source for the investigation, helping to interpret the mysterious messages left at each crime scene. Fragmented lines of poetry, carefully written in coral nail polish or lipstick, or cutout letters from magazines and newspapers. Beware of me, my love. One reads a message of both seduction and menace. Story immediately establishes that the victims are men, the murders explicitly and vividly physical. But in describing the attacks, language itself performs its own secondary mutilation. As Cristina says, La victima is always feminine. Do you see? This word will castrate them over and over again. There are bodies and clues, suspects and investigations, a pungent sense of fear and unease. And there are familiar characters like the tabloid journalist and the detective are recurring characters throughout the novel. But story forwards not through a procedural investigation, but via an unlikely act of literary criticism. The messages the killer leaves at each crime scene of psychological nooks and crannies, of poetic shadows, gender traps, metaphors, metonyms. Cristina receives a series of cryptic messages from the murderer who tells her, "You shouldn't be afraid of me. I won't hurt you. I couldn't possibly hurt you." Book is a dark and dazzling literary thriller that flips the traditional crime narrative on its head. In a world where death is rampant and violence is gendered, it explores with masterful imagination the unstable terrains of desire and sexuality. The novel argues that reading isn't just a detective work or a form of interrogation, it's a deadly in and of itself. The failure of the detective to solve the case of the castrated men and catch the perpetrator comes to figure as a metaphor for and an indictment against society's larger failure to reimagine a world where women are not always the victims and where gender is not governing structure of language. Enjoy the book. If you enjoyed the video, then please like and share this video. Do subscribe to the channel and don't forget to click the bell icon.